This is tonight, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Email.
got an email earlier today,
Okay.
so just waiting on Melinda and Brittany.
Where's everybody
Okay.
else?
I don't know where everybody else is at. This is like a party for three.
Time to start sending text message reminders.
Fine. They don't want to, they don't want the news to win gold medals, so I'm all up for it. Kim, you got to try this weighted throw thing.
Okay.
I have to throw 20 pounds, 10 meters. And it seems easier said than done,
I was
except
going to ask you, is it hard?
holy crap. So I finally got it from 3 meters and now I'm throwing about 6 meters.
Oh,
But-
okay.
I'm
That
so
weighted
tired
throw?
because it's 20 pounds.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
like, whew.
Yeah, I want to try it. I haven't said anything to Todd yet.
Oh yeah. So I have shot put, I have the discus, I have the weighted throw, and I have javelin. So you can try any of them.
Okay, I want to try all of them and see which one is my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, because I got extras, so. Shocking, but I think you may end up liking like the javelin or something that annoys the crap out of me. But watch you just like go up and throw it like Michelle does. I actually looked, I wasn't too bad behind Michelle. I was only like 0.3 meters behind Michelle. So I actually was
Oh, well,
beating
that's
myself
good.
up. Yeah, I thought I did a lot worse than I really did. So I feel a little bit better, but still.
Yeah, I was surprised at, at how good I felt about the shot put. I'm like, oh, this isn't bad. Like, I guess, I'm not that skinny high school kid anymore that couldn't do anything.
The
So,
shot is actually kind of fun.
yeah,
So I got to figure out how to get 10 meters though.
yeah,
Todd
Yeah.
keeps telling me to get 10
Working on
meters.
that spin and whatever, all of that.
I'm working on the spin, but the actual spin is
Yeah.
super hard.
Yeah,
Like I get dizzy.
well, right. I mean, I kind of think like it's some aerobics classes or learning dance steps or whatever. It's like, wait, now I got to concentrate on this and get this right.
Oh my God. And then he's
Wow.
like, nope, you got to release up. You got to go forward. You got to follow through. You got to do this. You got to keep spinning faster. And I'm like, we got to do like 2 things at a time. So we'll see. I have to like hurry up and practice like really hard. So like,
Yeah.
my next track practice, I can like look awesome.
Exactly.
I feel judged all the time and it's not by anybody else. It's just by Todd, just by Todd.
Todd, don't look.
I know, like he'll just look at me and I'm like, I know I didn't release high enough. I already know. I'm like, I'm trying. Oh my goodness. Maybe they won't come.
Yeah.
Well, I know we have September 17th to
Mhm.
throw junk, which Kim, you could learn how to do a throw by then. And then,
By September 17th? Well, that's
yeah,
like for a month.
dude, that's almost 2 months.
Right. And like, when did we actually start working with implements? Like,
I don't even know.
Right. So,
I was using a broomstick for a long time.
yeah, and that just doesn't act the same way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think Kim, you could at least learn one of those. I'll show you how to do it. We'll get you an
Okay.
All-American status.
Okay. We'll see which one is the easiest to get. Then
Yeah. And then you
That's
can
what
come
I'll
join
do.
us.
Oh, there's Melinda.
You still have to run and stuff. I can't get you out running, but
Okay.
you can come join our throwing group. Yeah, because that wouldn't be bad. If you could learn it enough in September, even if you didn't get All-American, you could still get see if we could get you placed in the top 3.
Yeah, I wonder what it is for my age.
Yeah, yours is less distance for all of the throws than mine. So like my javelin is, I mean, it's like 19.6 or 19.8. I just tell Todd 20 because if I fall short, I'll still hit All-American. But
That's good. That's good thinking right there.
I know that's why he keeps giving me exact, and I'm like, no, you just like national. You gotta get 10 for shot put. There's no 9.9 or 9.8. Just go for 10. So
Funny. I love it. You guys can hear us, obviously, right?
yep.
Okay. Welcome, everybody.
Phone call completed.
um,
Those round things that become teal because it like burns off the white or whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, those stickers that you did Amp Up Sports on and they were round and you put them on the cups and they
Oh,
had
for
teal.
cups?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they had teal print on them. I'm not saying make the whole thing red, but would it be possible to get a red one and do like a red and white?
I have no
Thank-
clue. Why don't you test it with the blue ones we have and see if it's possible
Yeah.
to get all that color?
But I'm thinking about that for, because if they're square ones for the bars, when I have to redo the Amp Up bar.
That would be awesome if we can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely awesome.
Okay, good.
So you're gonna have to send a message to Mary to do some artwork later this week or whatever and test to see if she can get the whole color to show up on this blue circle thermal labels. I wouldn't test her now. She's in the middle of working on ShipStation. Do not create
No,
confusion.
I'm not letting her, I'm doing the artwork myself.
Okay, so everyone, going over stuff that Todd wanted us to review with you for the meeting for the month of July. So congratulations to everyone for competing, USA Powerlifting and USA Track and Field. We had just a fabulous time and you all turned up. That's what matters. You all turned up. So that was beautiful. Especially with USA Powerlifting being so strict. They follow, by the book. Obviously, you could tell that with USA Track and Field as well. They're pretty strict, but that meet was, let me explain what type of a meet that was. So the meet they just did was USA Track and Field Regionals, plus it combined as the Midwest Championships for the Regional Association also. So that's why a lot of you got the 2 trophies, because it was a combined type of a meet. USA Track and Field plus Midwest Championships. So he said this meet in September isn't the USA Track and Field Nationals, but it's the USA Track and Field National level meet for USA Track and Field Midwest Regional Association.
A lot of words.
All those words. So it's just, kind of like politicky. So what it is. So we are, Amp Up is a team that's under the Lake Erie Association, which is part of the USA Track and Field Midwest Regional group. So that's kind of what that is. So September is a USATF isn't a nationals, but it's a USATF national level meet for the Midwest Regional Association. The meet they just did was USATF Regionals and Combined Midwest Championship. USATF National Organization has meets, and the USATF 7 to 8 regional divisions have their own meets. But then they bring in USATF to judge and do all that. So that's kind of, and he said it's like the Big Ten championship versus the national championship. So all the different associations that football's played in, and then you bring the national championship together. So he said that's the way they need to perceive it. Okay, number 2, expect the competition at USA Track and Field National Meet to be much more intense and more athletes in your division, especially for the gold medal national title. So what we just went through was smaller than this one, because I remember being at a throwing event, and boy, does it pull in, it'll pull in people that are not at the other meets, and they'll have shirts that just say New Mexico Throwing Club, the Texas Throwers Association. So there's a lot of teams that will form just for throwing. So definitely get a lot more people, 40 and 50s. Those groups were huge on that. The first indoor meet is January, February, 1 or 2 regional meets, and then nationals in March in Chicago. So training for indoor season, all the training that we're doing now all leads up to the, obviously just leads right into, from outdoor right into indoor. So all the prepping you're doing right now, you do have to perceive that it all adds up and goes right into the, when we go right into indoors. He said July, August, September, October, November is when you want to be in, do your work to get in peak conditioning. The peak conditioning for that is, so you got plenty of time on your side to get ready for winter athletics. But I think we kind of did that too. So we kind of did that all with the spring to lead up to that powerlifting meet, obviously, and the track meet. And then he said spending these 5 months. So we were discussing the words in season, preseason, and then not off season, in season, preseason. He said you're in season year round. In season, preseason. Fuck, there's a third one. Anyway, the last quarter of the year, that's when we were going to start putting all the powerlifting, do powerlifting training that last quarter, because the strength of all that, you can actually do a powerlifting meet at the end of the year, and then it'll apply towards, you know, your throws and everything that you're going to do starting at the indoor season. Damn it, it was in season, pre-season,
Wasn't postseason?
and what?
Postseason?
It's not the word post, and it's not the word off season. This podcast Michelle had me listen to, this coach that said you're in season year round, but he said don't say the word off season because it's not true. It makes your athletes gain weight. If they hear the word off season, athletes just start.
I was calling it deload, like deload season.
Yeah, it had a word.
I was
It was
telling
a one
everybody
word.
they were deloading right after the
What's
powerlifting
deload mean?
track
What's
meet.
deload mean?
That's like when you lift, like we would do it at Power Train when you'd be on a program and lifting heavy for like 4 weeks or like 8 weeks straight. Then you would do like a deload week or even like a deload month, where you go from training hard and heavy and super intense to doing more range of motion, more mobility, and more high reps.
Oh, that's what I'm doing with everybody right now.
More high reps.
Why is that
and
called
lower
deload?
weight, because you're taking down the load, the
Oh,
amount of weight and the amount of intensity. That's decreasing the load that you're putting on your body.
okay.
But for periodization of training, that's important to have like a deload week or 2 weeks in your cycle, because you start to get to the point where, like, you know, I'd be on week 3 or whatever, and I'd just be getting really fatigued and like not getting that much stronger than whatever I was lifting in week 2, and then week 4, and then they'd be like, okay, you need a deload week or a deload month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just have to be,
Yeah. So there's definitely, so in season, preseason. Oh, I'll get it. It's just, it's a
Anyway.
one word, and it has to do with, it's not off season. He said that makes athletes gain weight. Do
okay, it's
not say off season.
And we'll tell
It's
you
not
the
a
word
off
when we
season.
figure
Yeah,
it
I'll
out.
figure the word out. But for us, we're going to be, what this off season time is going to be that last quarter for all power. And then the rest of the year is just going to be like what she said, conditioning and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So he wants body fat dropped because body fat impedes performance. Really get focused on driving the body fat down. A big thing on body fat is trunk fat.
And you have to get used to the way your body moves, and especially in sprinting, moving your body at a certain body fat and at a certain weight. And just like with powerlifting, we don't want you to shoot down right before and do it in a way where you don't have body awareness. So you're sacrificing strength and speed, or your body's too fatigued from that plummet in weight and dive to make weight, to where you don't have as much strength as you could if you got to your low body fat ahead of time.
A big thing on the body fat is the visceral fat on the midsection. Visceral fat, I'm going to give you the best visual possible. Visceral fat, so like if there's fat on your thighs, every girl knows this. You run, you got fat on your thighs, you feel your thighs rub. So you're like, fuck wearing shorts when I run. I got to wear pants. I can't stand that feeling of my thighs rubbing. But typically thigh fat doesn't throw your gait off. Just because your thighs are rubbing, you can still keep running pretty straight. It doesn't throw your gait off. It's just kind of heavy to carry. But when you have midsection fat, gut fat, back fat, love handle fat, upper back blade fat, your trunk fat is the worst of all fat. Number one, so let's say you got an extra 50 to 100 pounds on you and you're deadlifting. You're grabbing the weight and you're picking up all that weight of your body on top of all the weight that's on the bar. If the weight is gone, now it's just like you with muscle, low body fat. Now it's just picking up weight. So it makes it easier. But the worst part of visceral fat and trunk fat is with track. You can't turn right. You can't throw right. It makes you do too much washing machine when you run because the trunk is throwing you around. You can't hold it still and straight. When your abs get flat and close to the spine and close to your back, when you're running, you run so much more straight because everything's all compacted and pulled in. You can feel a huge difference. Just let your stomach fat kind of hang out, run, then put a tight waist trimmer belt on and run and see the difference. Like, whoa, when you start to pull your waist and everything in, you just move so much cleaner and so much better. So that's why it's important. He wants July. I mean, obviously when it's hot out, it's the best time. Get out there, mow the grass like Jody's been doing 3 times a day if you need to. Just get out in the sun, burn up as much fat as possible. July, August, September. October, November, it starts to get a little bit chillier, but you're still on a trajectory of actually driving that body fat down. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to body fat and being over age 35, I was discussing this with a client. When you eat healthy and then you fast or you do a detox or you just do shakes or you do Kim's meals or whatever, and then you get off of them, and then your weight starts to come back up, it starts to make you feel like fucking crazy. Like, how am I going to keep this goddamn weight off? And it'll just drive you nuts. And you have to get to a place, whether you text it in your phone, you journal it, and you have to get to a place where you're not lying and not in fear. I don't know how to keep my weight down. And you have to say, if I have to do nothing but smooth shakes and soups for 4 days every week, and then 3 days I can eat small, but I at least get to eat a couple things. And that keeps me from gaining 5, 8, 9 pounds back, then that's what you have to do. You can't lie about it. The metabolism is controlled by hormones. And so the hormones start at age 29, they change. They change again at 36 to 38-ish. That's a big one right there. 42 is the next change, and your worst change of all is 46 to 47. Oh my God. So all those different ages, your hormones are changing, and it's like a shift down in testosterone, shift down in estrogen, shift. It's like downshifting, downshifting, downshifting. I mean, we worked out our whole lives, and it's still, it just is. And then when you actually get where the period stops, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's just incredible. Like your brain is like, the hormones that were controlling your brain are off. And you're like, God, you got to like readapt. You got to get like DHEA. You got to get some hormone creams. You got to try to bring it, just slightly bring your hormones back up to feel like, okay, I'm back to feeling like myself again. You will not feel like yourself. And that's all hormones. Hormones are what make us feel like that we're a person, that we're, oh, this is me. And whenever you don't feel like you, your hormones are off. And so that's why, even I remember when she would have her periods, early 20s and then late 20s or whatever, I'm like, start taking Vitex now.
No,
And then she'd
teens.
bring her emotions
Started
back
in
to
teens.
normal. Yeah,
Yeah,
teens
this
for you.
started when I was 16, 17.
Mhm. So whenever you're not feeling like yourself, it's your hormone. But the weight, as you age past 30, 35, 40, you have to start being real manipulative with your diet, because my God, the scale wants to move so much. It wants to put on 5 to 8 to 10 pounds in a weekend. And you can say to yourself, oh my God, I ate almost nothing. We didn't even eat all day. Then we went out to eat, had pizza, I shared a dessert with 3 other people. If you would have done that at 16, it wouldn't have done shit to your scale. You do that now, it's like, why is this 7 pounds up? That's how severe it is. So being a master's athlete, part of that goes along with it is the fact that scale weight doesn't really stay down easy. And so you have to be very manipulative. You have to go, I can't judge this like I'm 20, like I'm 30, like I'm 16. You can't use any of those past versions of yourself. I heard this awesome thing yesterday about, you know, that saying, energy is neither created nor destroyed. That it's an actual real saying, but they said, you know, we're energy, and our energy never stays the same. It's always creating the next version of us. So we're always, everything is always moving into the next version. So our energy is making the 40-year-old, making the 50-year-old, making the 60-year-old. So you have to know that about your own energy, that your energy is always creating the next version of yourself. Well, the next version of yourself can't apply any of the rules from the past. You have to be like, no, my weight, I gain on my trunk so fast. And that is a menopausal trait and andropause when men have it. Gaining on the trunk is a common thing because of low testosterone, when the testosterone starts coming down. And so working out increases it naturally. You might have to take some testosterone, maybe 1 month, a few times a month, or for 1 week a month, every couple months or whatever. You have to find the right combo for you. But that's what I want you to understand. It's like, damn, this trunk fat is just making too much washing machine, and it's throwing off my throws because it's throwing off your spine. It's messing your, the weight is hanging. Here's your spine is hanging off, and you can't do your turns like you're supposed to. So it's just another reason to take it more serious about trunk fat, on top of it does cause heart attacks. It does thicken the blood right there. That's what causes strokes. You can't have a lot of belly fat because it makes the blood too thick, that leads to the brain. So you got to be very vigilant watching trunk fat.
I have something to add too.
Okay.
So, I mean, Todd makes fun of me all the time. You saw me eat like a whole bowl of chicken here. Todd makes fun of me all the time because when I'm in hardcore track training or hardcore powerlifting training, my appetite gets so ferocious, and I will just snack. And because I work out so much, I just think like, I've been doing this for 20 some years. Like I never eat to stuff myself. I just kind of eat till I'm like not hungry anymore, not even like full. But if I get out of paying attention to my protein, And by that, I also mean watching carbs, but really I mean paying attention to my protein. If I get out of paying attention to my protein, I will snack, and eat way more carbs and things that don't fill me up.
Yeah.
And then my body fat will not come down. So that's something where now I'm back on track to paying more attention to that, because who the fuck knows why I wasn't, but
I think I know.
That's a
I think it's called
reality.
boredom.
well, and just
Sometimes
so
it's
much
boredom.
shit. No, too many things, like just so much shit.
Yeah.
And it's just one thing where I'm like, okay, I'm just like one less thing to pay attention to.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it took
And
me
that's
2
stressful.
weeks to get my fucking email back online. Who
Yeah.
the fuck knows why? That was
Yeah.
a 2-hour project. Like
Yeah.
there's just things
And
where
that's
it's like,
stressful.
I haven't been into my business email for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I don't even have a good explanation for it. Like, whatever, just shit piled up on the list.
Yeah.
So it was just one less thing to fucking pay attention to. And I just kind of do things on autopilot. And so then I was at the track, every other day, working out hard, sprinting, and I was just snacking more. And so then, of course, after the big meet, Todd was like, okay, next time you need to focus on getting even more protein in, because you're what's called workout drunk. And when you come in that delusional, and I even told him, I was like, listen, like, just be prepared for when we work out Tuesday morning, then I have to come sit in a meeting. Be prepared for the fact that I'm going to look out of it. I'm going to look delirious. I'm probably going to be bitchy. Things don't compute. Like, it feels like I'm first trying to wake up for like the next 6 hours. And I was like, as long as you're okay with the fact that I look disinterested and tired, then it's fine. He's like, yeah, I don't care about that. And I was like, okay, fine. So we'd have that conversation. Then he researched it more and he was like, yeah, you're like protein deficit drunk. And I was like, what? And so he was sending me all these research articles, which now it's going to be a whole thing that we go into and teach more because of. But here, I've been doing this for 20 some years and I love all this research. I've read all this shit before. I know what I should be doing, but it was just another thing that I was like, for whatever fucking reason, I wasn't focusing on it enough. So that's something that he had to bring to my attention. And so now that I'm back to like really focusing on protein, really trying to get 1 gram for every pound of body weight in, I'm feeling better. I have more energy. Everything's looking leaner. I'm not as tired. So a lot of the things that I was just chalking up to training heavy and just being like, okay, gut through it. Like, yeah, you're out in the track in the blistering heat for 2 hours. Of course, you're going to be delirious and tired afterwards. But there's a certain percentage of it that I was causing to myself and that I didn't need to be experiencing. So that's another thing where I've just really been noticing the past week that I've been paying attention to my protein again. How much that controls my appetite. And it's like, no matter how many times I go through this and know it, sometimes I still just get off track and I just have to reset and just count everything again and just make sure I'm actually getting enough protein in. And so for me, it usually ends up being like 2 shakes or protein pudding during the day. And then, 3 protein-based meals, eggs, egg whites, chicken, beef, getting all that variety in. Kim's making me salmon bites this week and chicken burgers. So again, using meal prep services like Kim, that allows to get some variety in, because I don't want to fucking cook all that meat. Like, I'll cook eggs, I'll make frittatas, like baked frittatas and like mass cook eggs and things like that. But, just simplify the shit, stick to the basics, make sure you're getting your protein in. That's why we developed our protein shakes, for that supplement factor to get the protein where it needs to be. But you need to recognize that about yourself as a master's athlete, because after age 25, and like Melinda was saying about all the hormones, things don't repair as fast.
Right.
And so protein, now I'm going to start researching how protein impacts all of those hormones, because everything is so connected together. So this is just another thing to say, okay, need to make sure that, you're doing your fast days, intermittent fast days for repair and anti-aging purposes, but on a regular basis, number one, make sure you're getting that protein in, because that is going to be the number one thing that increases your metabolism, gives you energy, repairs your body. That's why we have a protein supplement based company here. And here I am forgetting to eat enough protein.
Yeah. So my point is, don't start having a pity party when we're aging. All of us are aging, and having protein or eating healthy or saying, my God, I eat so much less than I used to and I still can't lose the weight. Well, I've been through so many different diets, and sometimes it's just like fasting, nothing but liquid, 3 to 4 days, then egg whites and asparagus, and then it will finally move. So it's a different ball game. So I've even talked to Rachel. I know how lean Rachel eats and how much she has to work out. And it's like, hey, it's the next level of the way the hormones are changing. And you're like, what I was doing 2 years ago, it's for real. What you're doing at 36, 37, 38 is nothing like 39, 40 to 42. You're like, oh my God, I'm putting in so much work. It's incredible. I think too, because for longevity reasons, fat, obviously, as you age, because you're losing a lot of bone mass too, just keeps you alive longer. So, but being healthy, working out, muscle, all that does as well. And it actually keeps keeps the aging process down. Okay, so dropping body fat, getting in touch with yourself, accepting, all right, I don't like how this feels on my gut. I want this trunk fat off. I want to be able to straighten out my runs better. I want to be able to come all the way around, spin around really easy because I've taken that weight off my gut. And there is no such thing as a metabolism that just doesn't work all the way. It's just how low do you have to go and how high do you have to burn to match you? So how low do your calories have to go? How high does your fat burning have to go? Or what combo of it? 3 days on, 2 days off of it, 1 day eating what you want, start it all over again. And then every 2 weeks, you're like, my weight, I'm at least maintaining, or I lose weight about every 14 to 16 days. So it's not a day by day process with weight loss. You can look at it on a weekly basis, but really about 10 to 14 days is what you really look at. Like, did it move and is it down? Did it move and is it down? And are you keeping that cycle going? Track athletes must be in top shape on VO2 max. So let's talk about VO2 max and anaerobic recovery. So this is something that Rhonda said in the workout yesterday. Oh, I don't feel fit enough. I'm like, well, we're in the middle of anaerobic. So anaerobic work, what we're doing right now, a lot of, you are jumping up and down, jump squats, the ladder, the hurdles, jump rope, running a short distance. And it's without oxygen. Even if you think you're breathing a couple breaths, you're still doing so much for the 1 or 2 breaths that you just took. That creates debt. And then when you stop, the body says, now pay me back. You owe me all that debt you just created, that oxygen debt. So anaerobic recovery is what we're working on with all of you now. Helps with, obviously, it's mainly for track, but it helps with powerlifting as well. Your ability to hold your breath in, be able to get as much oxygen as you possibly can when you're working out hard. And then like the VO2 max test is like a let's just say a jar. It's got all these lines on it. Then you blow in it and you're trying to see how far you can make it go up. That's the power of your lungs. So that's VO2 max. How, with one breath, how far can you get that thing up, hitting something before it comes back down? Anaerobic recovery is you do a set of something and how quick are you recovering? And Dana's doing an unbelievably fabulous job on all her recovery that she's been working on, just so fast it's coming back. So it's not that there's never going to be a time when you do anaerobic activity where you're not going to pant. It's how quick. So the sign of fitness is how quick before you come back to being able to breathe good again. Okay. So like when we first get back to the track and he has us running hundreds or 60s, I'm like, I have to walk the whole track. I'm like, fuck, I can't even breathe. It takes me the whole track to get my breathing back. Then the more and more fit I get, I run it. I just start walk back, go again, run, go back, do it again. So unfit, I have to walk the track. I literally need 2 to 3 minutes just to bring back my recovery. But the more fit you get, it's just called anaerobic recovery time. How quick before you're like, okay, I'm breathing good again. My legs aren't burning. My nose isn't burning. My lungs aren't burning. And I'm ready to go again. So anaerobic recovery, it only gets better from the SAID principle. Remember the exercise science SAID principle. You have to do it to get better at that. Stabilization muscles, he wants worked on. Support muscles, he wants them in strong, pliable, high force, ready condition from specific weight training and plyos. And that's what we're doing with you. That's the type of training we're doing right now. So example, Rhonda having to balance on the, what is that fucking pink thing called? It's not a Bozu. Is it like a little mini Bozu?
Like a balance saucer.
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 A fat saucer, a balancing
Balance
fat saucer.
Yeah.
That thing, when you have to stand on that and move your leg, work your hip. That's balancing her feet muscles, her toes, her ankles, her soleus, every kind of muscle that's around the lower legs and so forth. So that's what we're working. Field athletes must get throwing muscles in top condition during this period.
Oh, it's a balance disc.
It's got a balance disc. Okay, balance disc. Specific weight training, throwing, conditioning exercises. Plus, he wants all the javelin throwers. He wants you by September able to sprint, spin, sprint the 30 meters. So he wants you working on sprinting the 30 meters. So I already began it, but you all need to work on that. One thing I will tell you about being a master's athlete and how often you actually have to move a muscle that you're training. When I just go to the track and throw the javelin with him once a week, I get no progress. Zero, none. I get the progress on, I hit the pterodactyl. I get the progress on running throws. I get the progress on like the tangibles. You know, the each individual trait that he teaches us. I get no progress on my distance. Zero. I feel like my arm gets all pumped up. I do all the throws. The next day I still feel pumped up. 48 hours later, it's just gone. All the energy, all the blood flow, it's gone. So when I was getting ready for torture device, Rhonda said it's called a torture device. That's a better name. So keeping blood flow in those muscles, you don't even have to leave the house. If you're just walking around cleaning up the house and you're just going like this and doing your moves, like you can do those moves in your bedroom, you can do them in the bathroom, you can do them in sitting on the chair, sitting on the couch. Just get in the habit of making those short little burst moves and keeping blood flow in that area. So going back 20 times over and over for the javelin, acting like you have a javelin in your hand. You don't need to pick up any instrument, just move those muscles. So just spinning, that kind of thing. So at least every other day. Do not do as I told you I did. So I can't do it. I have to be out there always making moves on my arm so I can actually start getting some distance, my next level of distance. Field athletes, USA powerlifting meet at end of year is just part of your conditioning training and gives you a focus goal for it. So that's the purpose of the track, of powerlifting. When you win gold at nationals, you become the USA national champion in that event. It's historic. Some of you have a shot with more work. Brittany and I both got second in the nation so far on the events that we did. So it's actually a really big deal. Then there's a lot of lists out there that will tell you, I'm always watching my world ranking. So telling you what your world ranking is and your national ranking. So you can
And
see
you get put on those lists. Like you can
your
literally,
name,
after you
your time,
compete,
your everything gets put on these
you
lists.
get ranked in the nation and you get ranked in the world.
In the world too. Yeah. So that's really cool. Super, super cool that that's happening. Protein is the biggest key to your diet for conditioning. Most still don't get enough. More protein, less carbs, except right before and after hard training sessions. So that's where you want, obviously, a lot of you already do it. You do the carb, your sweet potatoes, your oats, whatever. One
Protein
thing I will
cookies.
say is, like, some of you will tell me what you did for your carbs. I swear sweet potatoes have the best performance that I've ever watched in most of my clients. When I hear oats, I just don't see it. I don't see like a great thing. When I hear the night
Now,
before they had pizza, they actually get good
I-
performance on pizza.
Do oats in the morning with protein powder, like before I run, because I don't want something that's hard to digest and I don't want to be burping up eggs. So
what about
especially-
lifting heavy? Do you perform good on oats lifting heavy versus
Yeah.
a sweet potato?
Yeah, for whatever reason, oats and protein
Maybe in
together.
here, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want just straight, I don't want chicken.
Well, I don't
and
think they
sweet
do. I don't
potato.
know if they do. I don't know
No,
if they
yeah,
do.
no, I'm just saying, I do better. I don't want meat because my digestion gets so irritable that either I'll be burping it up and feel like puking, or I'll like feel like I'm gonna shit my pants. So
On what thing?
on anything except for protein powder, like don't give me meat the day of, and
Oh.
and don't give me meat like the night before. Like when I ate that salad, I thought I was gonna fucking die. Went to the bathroom 5 times. Thank God I didn't run till 1 p.m.
But when it's time to actually like lift heavy, like if you're not at the meet, if you're actually training, which carb do you perform the best on?
Oats, I do better on oats.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not me. It rushes my blood sugar so bad.
No, sweet potatoes do that. I absorb sweet potatoes better after I work out.
Oh,
So I do better with sweet potatoes after I work out. And I do better with oats and protein mixed together.
huh.
So literally a half cup of dry oats and then a scoop, which is a quarter cup of our protein. And then I'll mix it together with just a little bit of like chocolate silk almond milk and just literally something that plain, maybe some PB2 in it. I have to eat something that plain and easy to digest. Otherwise it'll make me sick.
Okay.
It will make me feel sluggish. So for me, it's more the low glycemic carb. I have to have a low glycemic carb with fiber in it like that. And then I have to have a really easy to digest protein. Otherwise, it will make me feel sluggish because my body goes into digestion mode and I will have like gurgling and it'll just be completely distracting and or I'll feel like
And it
I'm
doesn't feel
gonna
good.
have diarrhea during.
Rhonda, do you put protein when you tell me that you've had oats certain times before powerlifting? Do you put protein in the oats or no?
Yeah, I put a scoop of protein powder, half a cup of oats, and a cup of coconut milk.
Okay. And do you feel your best when it's sweet potatoes or when it's sweet potato and oats or when it's oats alone? Which food
yeah.
makes you feel your best for lifting heavy?
Sweet potato.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you look like it.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. I'm like, wow, your lips just look so clean.
Yeah, I also don't cook my oats, which is not normal. So I like to make it like a no-bake cookie. So I'm literally eating raw oats, which
Yeah.
then slows down the glycemic effect and the digestion process. So again, everybody has to
that's true.
try. But that's just what I feel best eating. And then, like I said, my body absorbs the sweet potato and then a lean meat like chicken right afterwards, unless I can take a nap, and then I'll do beef and sweet potato and take a nap.
Huh. So I'm the opposite.
It
My
depends if I can take a
gut is,
nap or not.
yeah, my gut's making me so high from the oats. It's like I can't even, I get brain fog trying to squat with it.
But I also wake up so starving because of just the way my body metabolizes things. Like I
Yeah.
wake up starving and ready to go. So I actually do best if I have like oats and something sweet first thing in the morning. My body like needs that. Otherwise I feel like I'm in a brain fog and I
shaky.
don't wake up. Well,
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm awake.
Okay.
Like I actually need some sugar first thing in the
carbs.
morning.
And you have low body
Carbs.
fat too. So my body fat's not low like yours. So that's another thing. So when you guys go to eat carbs, when you already have higher body fat, you're going to get a different reaction to carbs than someone with way lower body fat. Yeah. So that is, I saw Dana snacking on those little oat rounds that she had at the event and she's got low body fat. So yeah, that's another thing to consider. Be careful. We say this over and over and I'm not going to stop saying it. Be careful what you're hearing, be careful what you read, be careful what you're watching, whether you're watching a national or world athlete doing something. You remember a lot of the stuff that we teach you, throwing or sprinting or whatever, we're taking videos, he's taking videos, we're slowing them down so slow so we can actually see the little tiny details that these pros and these world record holders are doing. We're
And
breaking it down
The
and
progression of it. Like you guys have to realize that there's a way that you have to teach something in terms of progressions. And
Yeah.
I know this from gymnastics. And it's so like first nature to me because in gymnastics, you don't just like throw a back tuck out of nowhere or do, like I don't remember what the shit's called, where you circle all the way around the bar. It's been 20 something years since I've done that. But you don't just like out and do that right away. So even when I went to work out with Dominique Moceanu and she was training me like 2 years ago or whatever, I gotta pay attention to time, Jenny's coming. Like you don't just start doing the skill. So everything's a progression. So it's like when I was relearning how to vault because they've changed the vault since I competed 20 years ago. It was okay, run, jump on the springboard and hop up to the crash mat that was elevated. Then it was okay, do a front handspring on that elevated mat and just fall on your back. Then it was get up to your feet. And so I was jumping from the floor onto a mat that was 3 feet up and doing a front handspring and then landing on my feet. And then eventually I did the real vault on the new vault into the pit. But all those things are progressions. So you have to think about what we're teaching you in terms of progressions, where
Yeah.
you might be watching an advanced athlete,
Yeah.
but that's like saying, go out and on day one, hop on that new vault and do a front handspring. So you're not there yet. And until you learn one thing, Dominique kept coming by And I mean, she's a fucking Olympic gymnast trained by Bella Caroli. So she's like, okay, I'm coming by and I'm going to watch you do this about 5 more times. And then I think we'll be at the point where we can go to the next progression. And I was like, okay. And so I just love the way that she was explaining this, because I mean, I grew up and I started doing gymnastics when I was 8, and you just kind of grow up and it's in your mind and you kind of know what's happening, but like you forget and nobody really explains it to you. So I just love the fact that she was reteaching me the progress of learning something, because like I've said 1,000 times, when you're an adult, how many things are you learning from scratch? How many things are brand new in your world? How many times are you going from that naive, like I have no clue what's happening, to mastery of something again at this age? So that's why it's so humbling. But to see that learning progress, like she was like, okay, well, okay, this looks good. Do it this way one more time, get this right, and then I'll let you go on to the next thing. And then she would tell me, now we're going to work on this. Now we're going to progress to this. And after you do this like 5 to 8 times, catch your breath, then we'll go on to the next thing. And so that gave me such a feeling of confidence, because I was fucking scared. Like, I'm showing up in front of an Olympic gymnast who literally won gold at the fucking Olympics and was one of my idols, was Shannon Miller growing up. And she was trained by Bella Caroli, who was a fucking badass and was harsh as fuck. And all the girls that went to train at his camp in Texas, I was scared to death to even go there. So that's what I was getting trained by. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so embarrassed. Like, I hope
And
this
you
goes
weren't.
well. I hope I don't fucking crash into the vault. But she was so great at teaching, and it just made me feel so calm. And she loves teaching masters athletes and adults how to enjoy gymnastics when you're in your 30s, because we are the same age. So that was really awesome. So think about what we're teaching you in terms of that, whether it's powerlifting, and especially with track, we're teaching you progression. So we're not teaching you everything that you're watching on YouTube that an Olympic athlete's doing. You're not there yet. You started this yesterday. So we're teaching you the next progression. And then as soon as you master that, we'll teach you the next thing. So it's like, if you look at my long jump that started 2 years ago, Todd was like, wow, you actually look like you know how to come out of the blocks. You know how to sprint now. You actually look like you know what you're doing as a sprinter, and you look like you're long jumping, not doing a cannonball into the sand pit like a gymnast. So there are certain things that have to be learned, and your body has to learn how to hold and throw and execute in a certain way before we can teach you the next thing. So just keep repeating that to yourself and have patience, and just really be in the moment and stop comparing yourself to other people and say, this is where I'm at. This is my journey. This is where I'm at with my weight. This is where I'm at with learning powerlifting. This is where I'm at with track. Like, this is something you signed up for as a master's athlete because you wanted to learn something new. So quit getting fucking impatient with yourself and thinking you should be something that you're not. You didn't start this at age 12 and train for the Olympics. Like, this is brand new, and that's why you're doing this. So keep reminding yourself, most of you were not college track athletes or field athletes. Like, you're doing this because it's so brand new, because it's a new challenge. And just like, quit comparing yourself to people who have completely different journeys and trajectories and life stories.
And I think a lot of the athletes are just like being humble, but then also being inspired. And I mean, that was such a good first meet for you guys, because when her first meet was at the nationals, because it was during COVID, and it was just it was every star you can imagine in track that was there. So
because the
it was like,
trials were
holy
that year.
shit. It was like you had to go straight to it.
The Olympic trials were 3 months prior,
And
so
they
I was
were
showing up
there.
next to girls that literally Todd looked up all my competition, and he was like, this bitch just was in the Olympic trials. This girl was in the Olympic trials. She's an Olympic hopeful. And that's what I was.
It was so intense.
And it was 105 degrees with the heat index. 95, 105 with the heat index. So this was a great first meet. I know none of you
first meet.
Rhonda prayed for it to stop raining, or no, Rhonda prayed for rain, and then after she experienced the rain, she was like, I'm not going to say that prayer again. I don't want that again.
I don't want that again. Rhonda, you prayed, you did an Indian dance for that rain.
She did a rain dance.
Thank you for doing a rain dance, Rhonda.
And she's gonna not do
I
that.
prayed that it would not be 100 degrees and sunny, like
Okay,
beating
well,
and we got
okay, that's
rain.
what your prayer really
But
was.
then
Well, you
after-
got it, Rhonda. You
After
got
the
your
sun
prayer.
came out after the rain, she was like, actually, I would have preferred that. I was like, yeah.
I mean, scorching heat is that's a completely different thing. You guys would have had to been hiding under the tents. So
But
you
at
got
least your
to really
body's
control
warm.
your body type. You got to really control your body
But at
temperature.
least your
for sure.
body's warm.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't a freezing rain, thank God. Thank God it wasn't
You
freezing rain.
weren't sprinting.
Thank God.
It was chilling.
It was a little chilly for
It
sure.
was chilling to
Yeah.
try to sprint.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the summary. So on the videos, the practice videos are going to be coming your way. The main thing that he went over yesterday in the practice, which is going to be a practice for not this weekend, it'll be towards the end of the month, is constantly working on just the 5 steps, the 5 steps, the 5 steps. So the 5 steps of javelin, not just meaning your footsteps, like 5 different things. So like when I do my drills, if I do daisy pickers and I go 10 that way, 10 back, then I go, okay, now I'm doing 10 pterodactyls, 10 pterodactyls back. Then the next one, I'm throwing it really fast, throwing it really hard. Then the next one, I do my run up. So 5 of those basic things, you just running your drills through that. Same thing with shot, with sprints, with anything. Sprints, you just do, I'm doing 10 takeoffs, 10, 20 in the blocks. 20, this is something for Dana to practice. 20, just setting your blocks up. Set your blocks up, set your blocks up, set your blocks up 20 times. So, you know, and pay attention, all the little grooves. Where does this go in the groove? If there's numbers on it, whatever, how many notches away? So know the notches away your front block is to the back. Those kind of things will make your brain feel so much more calm when it's time of. So that's the main thing for the month of July. He just wants a lot of detail work being done. And like I've already told you, do not go longer than 48 hours without the muscle that you use with whatever activity you do. If it's shoulders, you start doing some shoulder press, you do some A push-ups if you're at home, you get some dumbbells, you do some shoulder press, you keep your shoulders pumped with blood for sprinting and for all throws for sure.
And the workout that, or the practice that I just filmed with him last week, we're showing, let's just say 10 different drills. He didn't count, so let's just call it 10. I had to film all the shit. So let's just say it's 10 different drills, and he's like, pick 5 of them and do 5 of them like 2 to 3 times a week. So that's good if you just watch it, and then it's like, okay, every other day, do 5 of those drills, whether you're at the track in your backyard, like you can, pick what you can do based on where you're at.
Yeah.
But just to get those drills in, because that makes, where's the film? It's not out yet. It hasn't been released.
Yeah, I have to load the one that she did with him.
Yeah.
I'll get that loaded. Then I have the actual PDF file workout that he wants done for the rest of July. I'll load that Friday. And then we have practice this Sunday, the
No.
16th.
No, next Sunday, the following Sunday, 23rd.
It's
Oh, sorry, it's the 23rd. So I'll load that. And then the 23rd is practice, and then
Or the months.
and then the 30th, I'll load the other workout. Okay, so that's when I'll load the other one on the 30th, but I'll load the
on
PDF.
the 30th.
Yeah,
Why would you load it on the 30th?
when can I, this is the 16th is yours, 23rd is practice, and the 30th is the last one.
Well, but mine is exercises. What are yours?
Just the throwing drills.
Well, then you need to load it now, because mine are not just throwing drills. Mine are for
Well,
sprinters.
there's 2 online practices and then 1 live one.
Okay,
so-
well, put them both on there so people can pick and just do it all throughout the next 2
Okay.
weeks, because the month's almost half over already.
Okay. All right. Okay, so expect those on Friday. You'll see the actual track and field drills, PDF file under files, and then the videos. I'll load both those videos into the app as well on Friday. Anybody have any questions? Want to say anything? Are we good? Good. All right.
Torture device is torture.
You're trying to
Outdoor,
scare everybody before I
outdoor
get on.
bio is torture.
Everybody on that thing. All right, beautiful.
I have
All
a
right,
question. The
Jody,
workout,
Jody's been doing 4 hours a day, so I'm super proud of Jody. So keep it going, sister. Keep the work going, keep the work going. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys
Wait,
later.
Kim has a question. Kim has a question.
oh, thank you. Okay, where is the workout? It's not on the app, right? I can't find it. Like,
Okay,
where
so
is it?
You can see my chat, right? You can see where we talk in chat. So typically I'll load the videos in chat, because like you people that are not under my name, you can't see anything that I load unless I put it, attach it in the actual chat itself. So I load the videos under chat, and then I make a PDF. I don't know if you can see under files, because I hook PDFs, I attach them to each person's name that pops up. And then I also put the PDF file in the chat as well that says, here's the track, just agenda for the rest of the month of stuff to do, drills to do. So this Friday is when I'll load those things. But in the past, make sure that if you want to just look in the past, scroll up under chat and see if you see my PDF files or my videos.
Okay.
Okay, because because you're under Brittany and I loaded under my name, I ended up figuring out the only place I can get people who aren't under my trainer account, I have to do it through the chat.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Friday, I'll start loading all that stuff. And then that'll take you guys through the rest of the month. But like I said, just every 48 hours for sure, drills happening on every part of your body that gets used. All right. Okay, everyone. Have a great night. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.